This summer, Instacart presents famous summer flavors coming to your front door. Or pool. Or hotel.
Your grocery delivery has arrived, sir.
That was faster than room service.
No violins in the lobby.
Oh, seriously? Anyway, sit back, relax, and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Starring your favorite snacks, drinks, and more. Download Instacart for free delivery on your first 3 orders. Rated H for hungry audiences. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum $10 per order. Excludes restaurants. Additional terms and fees apply.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Hello there and welcome to This Song Is Yours, a podcast where we dive deep into the world of songwriting and music. I'm your host, Simon Fink, and today we've got a special treat for you. Our guest on the podcast today is the much-loved Australian indie rock band, Polish Club. They're back with a brand new single titled How Dare You Fall in Love in This City, and have just announced their forthcoming record, Heavyweight Heart, which is set to release on September 13th. To top it off, they're gearing up for a tour in October of this year. It is all very exciting. And in today's episode, we chat with band members Novak and JH about their journey into releasing music independently. We delve into the making of the new record, Heavyweight Heart, and explore how the personal changes in their lives over the past few years have influenced their songwriting. Additionally, we discuss their upcoming tour in October and the experience of bringing more band members along for the ride. Now, we want to extend a massive thank you to Ella for her assistance with today's episode. Don't forget to pre-order the Polish Club vinyl and purchase tour tickets through the links in today's show notes. Also, make sure to subscribe to this very podcast and follow us across all of our social media channels for more updates. Again, everything is found within today's show notes. Now, let's get into it. Here is our conversation with Polish Club.
I know the cost of love. At least I thought I did. I wanted to grow up. I want this to be it.
Please welcome back to This Song Is Yours, Novak and JH from Polish Club. Gentlemen, hello. Novak, welcome back. JH, welcome for the first time. Okay. I think that's where... I think, Novak, I had the pleasure of chatting with you in support of the last album in 2021, I want to say. But yeah, JH, welcome. It's lovely to be chatting with yourself today.
Oh, yeah, thanks for having me. I didn't realise Novak's been here before, but it's nice to be here. Sometimes
you gotta leave them somewhere to go the next time, so there's improvement.
Yeah. Novak gets all the cool stuff. Usually, so it's good that I get to come along as well.
Welcome, John Henry.
I'm not sure whether this counts as cool, but I will gladly take your presence, and I'm very glad that you're here with us today. It's a super, super exciting time to be a fan of Polish Club, but also I imagine to be a band member of the band. There's a brand new single out, there's an album on the way, there's a tour on the way. How are you guys feeling with album number 4 now, I guess, with that train having left the station?
So tired. Very, very tired. It's good. We're very independent. We're doing it all ourselves. So yeah, it's tiring. But it's fun. I mean, like, a lot of the stuff we've always done ourselves, especially the stuff that John does. Like, he's always done most of all of the art and stuff like that, and like when it comes to a campaign for an album, we usually do it pretty DIY. So it's just more of the same, but it's very exciting. It's cool.
It's a shame to be tired with like a solid 2 to 3 months left of having to flog this thing. But yeah, maybe you'll get your second or third wind soon.
I think it's on one hand you want to release heaps of songs before the album comes out because no one listens to it when the album comes out, and on the other hand you forget that, like, you have to make a video for each one, and you have to do ads and all that boring background stuff for each one. So it's trying to find a balance between not doing too much and going too turbo, and like still giving every track its fair dues.
Of course.
Yeah, you kind of like, and we've been kind of sitting on this for almost a year now, this album, and you're kind of just sick of hearing the songs and thinking about them, and kind of want to move. It's kind of hard to like move forward before the last thing that's come out. Like I assume a lot of people will start writing music and making and recording before they put the album out, but it's a weird thing to do. Like you're like, should I be thinking about the next thing now, or because I feel like I need to put energy into this thing before it's out?
I think a lot of people don't think as much in terms of albums as you and maybe me do, John, because people just write music all the time. They're freaks.
Yeah.
Like they'll do it in their spare time for like fun, which I think is silly.
I think it's the most funnest bit of it.
I don't necessarily disagree with you, but like we don't like meet up for fun and write songs for fun. You know what I mean? Like it's not like, oh, I've got a spare couple hours, I'm gonna call JH and see if he wants to just hang out and write some music. It's not.
Yeah.
I'm hearing myself say that now. I realize it sounds really cold, but I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean it in like a way to turn that process into something more satisfying.
It's always an ends to a means, I guess.
Yeah, it's us going, all right, we're like switching modes and we're doing this now, and there's a purpose to it, rather than like, just gotta write a song.
It's a jam, man.
Yeah.
When we started though, it was like, oh, let's just hang out and see how it goes, kind of thing.
Yeah,
it was a bit more fun time.
I'm not saying it's not fun. I'm just saying the instinct isn't there to be like, let's just hang and be creative. Like I feel like it's more fun if you have like goalposts and like a kind of horizon that you're chasing.
I imagine it's always like that when you're a team, like a writing team though. Like the people who write all the time just for fun, are they doing it by themselves or?
I mean, in my mind's eye, I'm picturing them like on a couch in their house, like fiddling on a guitar like a dickhead, and
rather than fiddling with themselves like you are.
Yeah, you gotta prioritize pleasure.
That's the name of our next album.
That's actually the name of an album already.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I forget what her name is.
Oh, damn.
With this album,
I'm Googling it.
Yeah, have a look.
Pleasure. It's self-esteem. There you go.
There it is.
Carry on.
That's a band?
She used to be in Slow Cub or one of those indie bands, and now she's like a pop star in the
Slow
UK.
Cub?
Slow Cub? This is derailing this podcast. I'm sorry. Yeah, Slow Cub. Anyways, move on.
That's a band?
Oh my God.
With this album, I will try and get us back on track. With this, the fourth and possibly final, by some of the conversation that we're having, album by Polish Club.
No.
No, just kidding. Heavyweight Heart.
Maybe.
It is, as you said, it's the fourth one, but it's going independent, kind of doing everything yourself. And I imagine that that there's quite a few changes, both externally from the band as well, to my understanding. I think both of you got married since that last record. Congratulations to both of you. And some pretty major kind of medical surgery, which we don't have to touch on. But I imagine that the perspectives of both of you were different going into this record than maybe those last three when it comes to the songwriting of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's always different. The hard thing is the process kind of takes so much longer than you want it to take that when it comes to talking about it, you forget the time frame in which it was actually written and like where you actually figured out the lyrics and the meanings to all of the songs. So, I mean, on one hand, John, you'll always kind of like try to draw a line in the sand while we're writing it and be like, it'd be cool if we kind of took this kind of angle or we figure out somewhere along the lines, and John will be like, actually, this record kind of feels like it's about blah. But on the other hand, like I get to this point and I'm like, well, I don't remember writing these songs. But yeah,
whenever I like listen back to our albums, they're always such like vivid, like the feeling of the time is always so vivid to me. Like especially like that our second album, man, we were both in such a personal turmoil that I always say like the like getting through that period of making that album, I feel like we'll never there'll be nothing that would ever like stop us from making another album. It was just so hard. Like there was so much going on in our lives. But then I look at the first album and I feel so, but we were both so having such a good time in our lives, I think. And that album I always think back of that album and think like, oh, that was fun. Whereas I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. This one, I don't know. I feel like we were kind of settling a little bit, although you were going through a lot of stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, like
I felt settled.
I don't think, like, on one hand, it's very happy. The tracks are mostly not joyful, but like content, more so than usual, maybe. But like, I mean, you know, they stopped my heart earlier this year, so I'll never forget that. So like, that is a marker for me. Mm. But like, I always subconsciously the timeline gets separated. I'll remember like recording it, but I won't. And I'll remember how much of a pain like Iguana was to track, and how much I think it's like one of the only times maybe we had to like redo songs was in that record, because we were like really trying to figure stuff out and we're struggling a little bit. But it doesn't necessarily line up with like personal events. Mm-hmm. Like I kind of capture it in the song, but then
I always think of them as like
done.
Yeah, I always think of the albums as like periods of time in my life. It's because they're such. By the time when you start writing an album and then to the point of where you kind of finish flogging it, it's like usually like two years or something. And it feels so much can happen in 2 years, I think.
I feel the same way about the corresponding tour, because that's a more drawn out and more heightened moment of the period, and I think maybe that's more, maybe not memorable, because I just have terrible memory. Anyway, like I don't remember anything. But like it's more visceral when I think back to like, oh yeah, that tour where, you know, that show was really hard or whatever, you know, things happen that are really memorable. Whereas like every single session in every recording studio kind of blurs into one for me, because it's all kind of the same variables, which is fun. Like I find it fun. But
the tours are always a blur for me, and the way I kind of remember what they were like is to think what state Wade was in by the end of it. or like our front of house, like other people.
We really destroy other people.
I don't know why though. We're not really wild people, but like, and you and me always come out of it fine, and there's always some kind of collateral damage.
That's what I'm talking about. That would never happen in a studio. I mean, at least not with us in a studio. We're in like Crocs and shorts, just chilling out in the studio. But like the live shows are like, whoa, someone might die, and I'm not sure why.
Why? Yeah. Always that front of house person. Always like, are they gonna make it through? Like, are they okay? It's only like 5 shows. Are they gonna make it?
Does the live, I guess the thought of taking the songs on the road, does that ever come into when you're in the studio? Do you ever think of, or ever change kind of tracks based on how they might be presented live, or whether they're achievable live, or is it just kind of what is done in the studio is how the song is meant to be, and then you'll work it out in rehearsals later?
Always kind of just assume it's going to be a bit shitter live. But usually like I guess with this album we're like, oh, we're gonna need someone to play keyboard for most of this stuff. It's usually just something like that.
I think like first 2 records, or at least up to the first 2 albums and like the EPs, I at least was really conscious of like, I don't want to add too much that we can't replicate live as a 2-piece, or maybe by the second album a 3-piece, because like it just won't be pleasurable live, like it won't be faithful to what we're about to record. So it was very much a dogma for me in terms of like guitar lines and like additional melodies over the vocals, like a lead guitar or whatever, or a solo that I couldn't do by myself. But now with the last couple of records, like we don't really care anymore, because fortunately we can take a couple more people on tour, because the tours are like 2 shows now. And like we just realized that, or at least I had the epiphany that like people don't really care if they don't hear every single thing on the record. You have to like develop this skill of finding out what the part people like is in the song and make sure to play that live. So it's the hook on the vocal, or it's like the beat, or it's, you know, 1 or 2 things that you have to do, and then everything else no one really gives a shit.
Yeah, I think and also this album was kind of weird because we co-wrote a couple of songs and it kind of took it away. Like most of our songs are just written on drums and guitar, and it makes it kind of easier to kind of strip it back down to like if we're going to do a 2-piece version. But when you write it with someone else, they kind of change that a bit.
Well, it's like when you write it with someone else who has like a laptop, you never really play it on your own, like within just me and John. We've never played a couple of the songs on the record, so we then have to kind of go backwards and figure out how we're gonna be faithful to that, which we didn't really do how we usually do. So we'll figure it out. There's only 4 co-writes on the record. Wait, 5, 4 or 5.
It's only half of the songs.
but I would say only a couple of them aren't like totally able to be simplified into like guitar playing chords and drums, and they're usually the ones with like there's a big hook that is hard to replicate as just a 2-piece. But yeah, this is we're all kind of gravitating towards the ultimate revelation or decision that I think will probably revert back to type after this record and just streamline the process and cut out the bullshit and just rip off the Black Keys again.
I was wanting to ask about one of the co-writes, if possible. The current single, How Dare You Fall in Love in This City, was, I think it was Robbie. Is it Robbie Dessar?
Yeah.
How did that opportunity come about with Robbie, and what was that like? Obviously having someone who's not one of the two of you kind of come into the, I want to say the inner sanctum, but like the studio with the Crocs and the shorts.
The inner rectum.
Yeah.
I knew it. I was in my mind. I was like, rectum. I love Robbie. And how did we meet, John?
You didn't you do a co-write with him for like The Voice or something?
Yes. Oh yeah, ages ago. We did a co-write, just me and him, for some guy who I don't think he won The Voice. And he didn't win because he rejected the song that we wrote for him. Because turns out he couldn't sing. And we wrote a song that required you to be able to sing. It was really good.
It's not called The Sing.
No, that's true. But it wasn't even that hard. Like, I'm not a technical singer, but like he just he said it wasn't for him, and Robbie and I immediately were like, I don't think this guy's actually physically able to sing this song. And then,
so you really nailed the brief, though, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, fuck him. I'd rather write a good song. I don't even know who he is. And then eventually, our manager at the time, I think, was just like, "Do you want to do a co-write with Robbie just for shits and giggles?" And we did. And I think it was like the first time that we had done a co-write, because we'd done it a handful of times.
It was like that was like the rugby league song.
No, didn't we do one before that?
No. I think we were like, let's go and just write a song that we can get it on a sync, like a bullshit song.
For
and
shits
then
and
they were
giggles.
like, oh, Robbie's good at that, kind of just pumping out shit like that. So we went in and I'm pretty sure we did that first. And then that got sunk.
Yeah, I'll take
Sunk to rugby league, but I think before that we were like, let's write some songs for us, because that was really easy and nice. So we pumped out, I don't know, like 5 or 6.
Yeah,
other ones.
it's like, you know what it's like? It's like we're the what's his name? Remy in Ratatouille. We're the rat, and he's the chef. Because he's like really quick. He's really quick on the tools. So like, it enables us to write the songs that we ended up writing really quickly and efficiently, while still he's really good at making it feel like it's just John and I, essentially, and he's just kind of facilitating stuff. And I think that's the reason why it wasn't such a market change mentally, because like before we were like, we don't want to do co-writes, I don't want to stare at someone's forehead or the back of someone's head while they're on a laptop. Stare at someone's forehead, that'd be weird. That'd be weirder. But I don't want to stare at someone's back of the head while they're on a laptop and searching for a snare. But he kind of like gets rid of all of that, so it was like super quick.
We've had some bad, like before that we've had really shitty co-write.
We had one
like, just
with
like
a
not
guy.
shitty, but just like really uninspiring kind of.
And now we had one with a guy where we started off by saying we hate the fact that we have to. Eventually, it just ends up us staring at the back of someone's head on a laptop searching for a snare. And he goes, "Nah, I don't do that. I'm not your daddy's co-writer. I don't do that shit." And then cut to 20 minutes later, and he's like flicking through like maracas on his laptop as John and I are staring at each other on the couch behind him, like, what the fuck? What are we doing here?
But I think the co-writes in the past haven't worked because we refuse to work like someone else. So we just want to. It's pretty selfish, I guess. Like we just either you like work like us, or I don't know. It doesn't really work.
But it's a bad way to work. The other way.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying the way we work is the only way to work. It's probably not a very efficient way of working, but I've done a lot of co-writes that's just me and someone else, and maybe another poppier singer in that world. And it's not an efficient way of writing a song, because you do end up staring at the back of someone's head while they flick through a bunch of free samples or like some plugin, and it's just like.
But I think it's because songwriters and co-writers want to be in the room for every part of the song. Like they want to be in there for writing the beat, every lyric, so they can take as much points as possible. I think that's why, and it's kind of annoying because we want to write. We like writing really quickly.
But the only way those songs ever get released, or the ones that do end up getting released, are the ones that people take away, change things, think about stuff for a while, and then the song turns into something else. I feel like it very rarely is.
Yeah, but they're banking on things hanging around from, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but that's why like 99.9% of those songs never see the light of day, because they're shit. It's a bad way of writing.
Most songs are shit. Like 99.9% of songs are shit.
But exactly. Right? So why not write like we write and lock yourself in a room for like a couple of hours and try to write 10 songs with no words and just bash them out, record everything, and then revisit it and pick the best ones and filter it out. Then at least you have like 100 shit songs and one might be good instead of one song which is probably shit.
Yeah, I think a lot of time people are really like get in the weeds of a song. They're like, oh, this is coming from, like this is coming from my heart. And they don't realize it's like, it can be like just like sketching and drawing where you're just pumping out lots of little drawings.
Was the most recent single, wasn't that done quite quickly? 5-10 minutes? How dare?
It was done.
That was just one day, one session.
Half day, I think.
Half day, yeah.
But
it ended up sounding. Like the production was already there, like as well. Like Robbie shout out a full produced song, which is pretty amazing.
But it was also like, I mean, what I said before is we'll write something and I'll be like, baby, and then fill in the gaps with actual words and meaning. Mm-hmm. But with this one, with Robbie, John and him were working on the beat, I think, and we kind of spent an hour on it, maybe just trying to figure out what kind of song we wanted to do. And we settled on it would just be 2 chords going up and down, and then I just said, I'll go out for 10 minutes outside on the chair outside his room and literally just wrote every single word, every single lyric, didn't sing it out loud, and then went to sing it in the demo, sang it maybe twice, and that was it. That was the song. Mm-hmm. Like that, it didn't change at all. Which was like, it's just a weird thing. Like that never happens. But I think, I don't know, something about that process that kind of made it happen where we could never, ever do that with just John and I playing the instruments, because like my brain can't make stuff up on the guitar in real time and make stuff up melodically in real time and put words to it. Mm-hmm. It's impossible.
I'm curious for yourselves with the album coming out. I know we're not promoting the album as such, we're promoting the singles, but I do want to kind of touch on with a number of the October live dates. Is there a track that both of you respectively are kind of looking forward to giving it its live debut in a live setting?
It's weird. I haven't really. We've played a couple already, but I haven't really thought about it that much because we're actually playing some shows with Spiderbait coming up, and we're going to do that as 2-piece, and pretty much can't play any of the new songs. So I've been trying to figure that out, and haven't really thought about the thing. But I'm kind of stressing out about playing How Dare You Fall in Love in This City. We've kind of had a little dabble.
It sounded so bad.
Yeah, I don't know if we can.
Yeah,
we'll
but
give it a go. But
we had a 30-second dabble with a brand new setup of band. I think the thing we have to do that's different is practice when there's 4 people, as opposed to with 2 people. It's like once you kind of figure it out, you're like, okay, great, we know the song, that's it. But with 4 people, it's like, is everyone okay? Like, do we all know what we're doing? How we do this many times? Like, well, there's no figuring it out on the night because everyone has to be on the same page. All those songs that weren't written with just me and Dave are always really hard to sort out. I don't know. It's because because then you have to go to a real musician like Tom and be like, okay, so we want you to play the keys on this one. Okay, what are the chords? I don't know. Which part am I playing? I don't know. Just bear with me and figure it out. So we haven't done that process yet. I'm really excited by the prospect of nailing that song live. At the moment, I'm there's a bit of trepidation because we don't know quite how we're going to do that yet, but I have faith that we will. I mean, we always I thought Manila was going to sound really bad live, and we played it at the couple of shows we played, and we just played it really fast. and a bit more like an indie band, and it was I thought it was super fun. So sometimes it's a case of picking which things to change as well and which things to like alter for the live version that make it really click and make it really make sense. So like
we played another song. Exciting. We played a song called Repeating, which is on the album, which I think is going to be the kind of lead single when the album comes out. You know, you put out a single when the album drops, and that was fun. That's a fun one.
Yeah,
but we wrote that together like we usually do. So it's just like, although we probably can't play that one without Tom Hogan, who is really good at playing arpeggios on a guitar. And Novak is so shit at arpeggios.
It's not that it's an arpeggio. It's that it's in their triplets. So it's like it's tricky rhythms, you know. It's not your classic, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I remember when we recorded it, Dave did a pass, and he was like just like in sheer agony doing it, and he got to the end of it, he's like, "That'll do, right?" And I was like, "Nah, that was real bad." Ding 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 ding.
I hate playing guitar. I think it's really it's an awful instrument. I just don't like it. I don't want to do it.
I was going to lead in with, like, I know lots of people are looking forward to these live shows, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes, how much guitar interaction. No refunds.
Yeah. Just to be clear.
We are going to put the tour dates in the podcast show notes, but we will put a disclaimer that there are no refunds and that the guitar may or may not be utilised by Novak. Gentlemen, I wanted to ask very quickly, we usually ask, I guess, what they're currently listening to. JH, I'll begin with yourself. Is there anything that's on high rotation for you at the moment?
I was just... Let me look at my Spotify.
He's currently scrolling through a bunch of, like, top 40 hits. Like, it's probably, like, Sabrina Carpenter.
Well, my usual response is that I've been listening to the new album that actually comes out the week before ours by my partner who's in the best band in Sydney called Party Dozen. Mm-hmm. But I've got the album and it's so good. So I'll listen to their albums so much before they release that I can't listen to them when it actually releases. But look out for that. It comes out a week, like in September as well.
Tell him the name, John.
It's called Crime in Australia. So,
he used to say that they were the best band in Australia.
I mix it up sometimes.
I mix it up. It's become the best band in Sydney.
No, we're the best band in Australia.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Smart.
I also kind of randomly got into Dominic Fike's last kind of EP record. Mm-hmm. It's called 14 minutes. Yeah, that's kind of inspired me to do a similar thing for our next album.
Novak is not.
I don't really know who that is, but I heard one of the songs. I heard a song on Triple J one day, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And it was Dominic Fike. It was really bad.
I know. Well, yeah, it's not all. The album's not amazing.
It sounded like Hobo Johnson or something.
I just like that every song is really short, and he does like a verse and a chorus, and then it ends.
That's horrible. Yeah. I'm so glad you asked this question because I recently got kicked off my family plan on Spotify because I don't live in the same house as my sister because I'm 37 and she's in her 40s. But we are family, but it still kicked us out of the family plan because they couldn't verify our address or some bullshit. I've been kicked off family plans for 12 months now from Spotify. And I've been having to listen to the free version of it. Mm-hmm. And I don't think I've ever had a more unpleasurable experience listening to music in my life. It has been so aggressively horrible that I've literally not listened to music for like the past month. It's horrific. So I'm sure, as everyone knows, you have to listen on shuffle, which is psychotic.
Crazy. They just made it
It's
harder
actually
and harder,
psychotic.
right?
It's so I'm trying to find the word. It's so hostile to the user that I think it's like actually quite insulting. Like I think it's actually really, 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 really unacceptable.
But why don't you pay for it?
Well, this is so like my point is I don't ever want to pay for Spotify again. Like if that's how they conduct themselves as a company that's worth billions and billions of dollars, it's completely unacceptable. And what they do is it's a streaming service that has all of this music in the same quality, right? It's of a certain level, but they'll cheap out on the bandwidth, I guess, and the file size of their ads, which are a lot of which are unskippable. And it's so fucking loud and so fucking compressed. And because I'm listening to music that is all kind of standardized, like they will compress songs that are too loud on Spotify, so they all kind of are the same. And then the fucking ad that they made comes on and it blows my ears out. And it's like, country music, it's back, baby. Listen to it now. And it's honestly, I'm in the grocery store, like collapsing to my knees because I've just had the shock of my life, and I can't hear anything for the next 20 minutes. Yeah, and it's every 2 songs or something. It's unbelievable.
The way that music sounds on Spotify is pretty bad. Like, and I kind of feel like the big ticket music, they don't like compress it as much as just regular Joe stuff. Like
the whole thing is completely unregulated. I mean, they just give a big bag to all the major music labels, and it's see you later. Enjoy your 0.02 cents per play. Maybe.
We've recently been putting on the podcast socials a lot about like why Spotify is shit for artists, and again that kind of point of like the fact that the sound quality just jumps all over the place.
It's weird. Yeah.
Unpopular opinion: Apple Music does seem to be better and it's cheaper and high quality.
Yeah.
It's just that, like, I understand that everyone hates musicians and doesn't think it's a real job and they don't deserve any money. Like, I've kind of come to terms with that. It's just like, whatever, fuck you. But
that's true.
But at the point where they don't even respect the customer, like, it's basically the terrible ad is a gun to your head going, pay us some fucking money. Even though we make money from these ads that we just paid you, pay us some fucking money if you want to keep your eardrums, asshole. If you want to keep listening to your shitty playlist of underrated Weezer gems, yeah, that's what I was listening to.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, it's no big loss for you, really, not having Spotify.
It's worth the start over on, like, fucking Deezer or whatever.
Hey, in saying all this, though, I noticed there's behind you that Phoebe Go record. That's a good record, and also that vinyl is being put out by Impressed, which also our record is being put out by, and that's a good thing.
100%. We're also going to be putting in the link for the Impressed recordings website, because it's a beautiful pressing that you guys have for this upcoming record, which is we've spoken to the people from Impressed, so hopefully we'll be putting in our order soon to get the album once it comes out in September.
Yeah, okay, you can get it on what is it, like swirly white and blue? Yeah,
I think
plastic.
White, blue. Was there like a silver or grey? I'm not sure. Yeah,
we'll wait and see, I guess.
We will have all the details in the show notes on where people can buy the record and see you on tour in October. The record is Heavyweight Heart. The brand new single which is out now, How Dare You Fall in Love in This City, is out right now. But Novak and JH, thank you very much for coming onto the podcast and coming back to the podcast. It's been a very insightful chat, but yeah, I appreciate you guys and your time today.
The tour is going to be really good. I know we refer to it with a lot of levity, but we work very hard and we practice a lot, and it's like 3 months away, so we're basically going to practice heaps until then.
Also got another song coming out in a couple of weeks to look out for.
It's a real cutie. It's a real jazzy cutie. So yeah, thanks for having us.
Imagine the softest sheets you've ever felt. Now imagine them getting even softer over time. That's what you'll feel with Boll & Branch's best-selling signature sheets in 100% organic cotton. In a recent customer survey, 96% replied that Boll & Branch sheets get softer with every wash. Start getting your best night's sleep in sheets that get softer and softer for years to come. Try their sheets with a 30-night guarantee. Plus, get 15% off your first order at bollandbranch.com, code BUTTERY. Exclusions apply. See site for details.